All right, our recording is live. We can start this whenever people are ready.
Oh, I am ready.
All right, Bobik, welcome and thank you for coming and answering a few questions for everybody.
No, thank you guys actually for inviting me. And to be honest, I really like the way everyone so organized and all together and actually caring about a game still, no matter how long it takes us to reach stable betas or the release of more RPG. So again, thank you for all it, guys.
I think we all can agree that we all enjoy the game. That's why we're here and have a ton of questions because we want to get better and are happy with where it's at so far.
Okay, let's go.
We've had a ton of guilds support us today, bringing up questions or being here and interacting with us about this interview from the Blood Pact, which is our federation. We've also had, that includes, the Vanirs, Lord and Prosperity, BIA. I know from our guild we have DNO, FIB, Forge, and Battleborn have also participated. Russian Union, I know we have Arcona, Masons. I'm not exactly sure who else is in the Russian Union, but I know there's a ton of guilds there. And then Blood Vikings, I know are here today. Ardent Keepers, Iron Coalition, and Maidenheim, which is a new one for me. So a lot of those are major guilds in this game. So thank you everyone for your questions and your support. So let's get started right away with a very difficult question. What's the ETA for the start of Wave 1?
Oh, it's so unexpected question. I'm quite surprised. I have never been prepared for the question. Let me check my conspects. Well, to be honest, I cannot disclose it at the moment because there is no certain date in stone. The reason for that is one huge reason. We are currently in the middle of negotiations with a partner. That's a company, a USA-based company, but it's a worldwide company that's interested in helping us with our MMORPG. And they have a lot of insights about how to properly start MMORPGs. My personal appeal is that one of the main marketing guys in that company had actually a lot of experience starting his own Ultima Online servers, and he's a huge fan of Ultima Online. And along from that, he started like Destiny online game and some other games. But that's not it's not the main reason. The main reason is they got a lot of insight and a lot of they can help us a lot with marketing and PR. And truth to be told, right now I'm almost only one who is doing it, and I must admit that I kind of suck in it. So some additional help never hurts, and that's why we're now in the middle of negotiation. Once we're going to sign an agreement, we will be able to finalize a plan, and according to that plan, we'll have an ETAs and certain dates. But anyway, it does not affect our development speed or anything. We just keep on developing, no matter how soon or later we're going to run the beta. So if we're going to start it in the end of October, we'll probably have more features like if we are going to start it tomorrow. I believe it's pretty much obvious.
Quick follow-up. Are we talking months? Are we talking weeks? Are we talking years?
We're not certainly talking about years. I'd say maybe weeks to months, something like that. Well, honestly, something in the end of October seems like a viable option to me right now. But again, it's not a final, it's not official, it's not an official ETA. It's just some rough plans that I'm aiming to.
All right. The next question is, most recent dev news update, you mentioned working with an, that you actually already answered the question. As far as combat questions, is there an overall goal with combat to make combat quick or drawn out? Like, which direction do you feel like you're going? Do you want it to be more like a drawn out combat engagement, or do you want it to be, a couple of hits and the person's dead, more realistic, I guess?
Oh, that's actually a tough question. my personal opinion that in MMORPG, you should not die instantly. I know that realism will sacrifice a lot, will be sacrificed for that reason, but for MMORPG scale, I'd say that there should be at least a couple of hits before you'll be dead. I do understand that it might result in some unrealistic situations, like where you are galloping on your horse with your lance couched, and you hit someone unarmored head, and he just receives some kind of damage, but not instantly dead. Yeah, it might be not really realistic and not really fun, but on the other hand, you can be that person at any time, and yes, you can. You should look all around, but still, there should be no one hit kills. That's my personal opinion. And we'll see how really massive battles will work out, because currently, Life Schedule Your Own is only up to 64 players, and as far as I know, there were really low occasions of really 30 on 30 people fighting, mostly about like 15-20 people in a combat. But the whole idea about formations and our MMORPG scale combat was about a huge battle, so at least 50 versus 50. And hopefully sooner or later we'll have such battles occurring in MMORPG, and that's where we're going to observe the statistics and see how everything works out. That's the idea. Because I'm quite sure that in an intensified clash, you might be dead quite fast, especially if you're in the front line. And that will be kind of okay for MMORPG, because, well, you got hit by 5 or 10 or 6 players simultaneously. Sorry, bad luck for you.
All right, and the next question is about, it's kind of, I know it's been something a lot of people have been talking about the female models. It feels like they're drastically different than the male models, as far as the hitbox and the size of the weapons and stuff like that. Do you have any planned changes for that sort of thing?
Changes of hitboxes or weapon?
When it comes to the female models, because right now the females are noticeably they're smaller, right?
That's
which
true.
also means that their weapons are smaller. Which
That's right.
For a one-handed mace like the flanged mace, their area of a handle hit, which is a non-damaging hit, is so much smaller that it's noticeable in combat. Also, female characters can get into spots that male characters can't. Like, you can jump onto balconies of houses and get in that way, while male characters can't. And if you look at, especially if you look at the heavy PvP your own service right now, it seems like there's just a bunch of females running around, which seems kind of ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Well, to be honest, it's absolutely new to me about them being able to squeeze into balconies. That certainly should not be possible. But as about everything rest, yes, they have a shorter reach. So I believe it should compensate their size. I mean, male should be able to hit them sooner. I mean, and with a bigger chance if that male can control some kind of distance. And as about that non-lethal hit, I believe we should check out that flanged mace. There's something differently not correct in what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the main idea, yes, females should be smaller. I mean, it's normal, and their size is compensated with their weapon reach. If community believes that it's not enough, maybe I just say maybe I should take a look at statistics, and maybe we'll just nerf them a bit from stats size. I mean. Maybe a bit less of damage, or maybe a bit less of weapon speed, or something like that. But to be honest, my personal opinion, I have played a lot of heavy PvP games: Ultima Online, Shadowbane, Darkfall, EVE Online, and so on. And I'm quite sure you guys also have seen it many times that some kind of build is proposed to be overpowered, and everyone's saying that it's overpowered, but in fact it's not that overpowered. And really true, some players know about it. I mean, they're not keep telling the same thing that everyone say, but they just know that it's actually not that overpowered. I'm trying to say that maybe just I'm trying to assume that maybe females are not that overpowered as they seem right now because of their obvious smaller hitbox size.
Yeah, I think definitely the way they're hit. I mean, if the hitboxes match up with the models, it's not so bad. I mean, I think you can adjust to a male-female player. It definitely does feel like the weapons and the mounts and stuff like that the sizes are definitely adjusted whether you're playing a male or female. So that includes like the flange mace where it does less handle damage because if a female's holding it, the handle size, I guess, is smaller. I mean, this is just what I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's not smaller. It's all weapons is equally scaled, so it has a smaller, a shorter distance to a damaging part. It has a shorter distance to a handle part. It has female have shorter arms after all, and it's so I'm quite sure it should not be that much of a difference unless there is some very exotic bug with their. I can't even imagine what kind of bug it can be, but it certainly needs some investigation.
All right. And then another big one is going in the MMO. At what stage of development do you plan on implementing more siege equipment? You know, we have a couple pieces of siege equipment. I know a lot of people are looking for like siege towers and stuff like that. Do you plan on implementing any new ones, and when would that be?
Yeah, that's also a tough question. Well, the idea is that maybe during duration of beta, next wave of beta, we will implement a climbing mode that will be it will be quite a time-consuming feature for us to implement, but I believe we really need it. And that climbing mode will be both the way for you to sneak somewhere, because basically your model will look like it's not crouching, maybe like really climbing something. And if you are traveling horizontal area somewhere in the glass, your profile will be lower and you will be able to crawl. And if you will approach some kind of steep surface, let's say some kind of mountain or tree or maybe even, I don't know yet, some parts of walls or some parts of buildings, rooftops, and siege ladders, you will be able to climb those surfaces. If you will receive a certain amount of damage, you will leave from that climbing mode, resulting you sliding down. So basic idea is we are going to have siege ladders sooner or later, and maybe ramps, how it's called, battering rams.
Nice.
And but yeah, I also want to implement siege towers, but I cannot see a vision of how they will be able to work properly in terraforming environment. I mean, I bet you have seen a lot of siege towers in different games, but they're all scripted in a certain positions, so moving like, you know, on rails. Only in pre-designed track, and they enter also always to the same spot, and it cannot be applied in our game. But at least siege ladders and battering rams, I believe, can be done in maybe even this year.
Okay, nice. So you would expect that.
And of course, mantlets, maybe bigger types of mantlets for shooters to approach closer to walls. And I also think about, I don't know how to call it in English yet, some kind of platforms to cross mods.
Okay.
You know, something like a siege ladder, but not on the wall, just to cross some kind of pit or moat.
Right, like a bridge of some sort.
Yeah, well, some kind of assault bridges. Yeah.
Okay, and you would expect that? Are you thinking like you would like to implement that in Wave 2? Is that something we look forward to, or?
I hope we will be able to implement it during Wave 1, during
Okay.
the next wave.
That brings up a good point. How long do you think Wave 1 will be?
Oh, maybe till the end of the current year.
So starting 2017, you expect Wave 2 at some point?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes. So that's our plan. But again, I have an extended experience that plans never go the way they are planned.
No promises, of course.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Soon, you know, guys.
Soon. Yeah, TM. Yeah. All
I
right.
got a follow up for the
Go for it.
the question about the climbing that you just answered. In that regard, when you're climbing, say, one of those taller areas, will you take fall damage if you fall down?
No, if you will slide the same way like you slide now. So if you are sliding for go from a good amount of time, or if that surface is too steep that you're almost falling, yes, you'll receive falling damage. Well, you can test it in Game Master mode. Just spawn somewhere and slide down, and you will see if you will receive damage or not, if you will be knocked out or not. So the same way we'll be working with climbing. You will just unglue from surface and start sliding. That's it. And normal rules of falling damage will be applied. So yeah, you'd better not seize that climbing if you are too high.
All right. Another one is people have seen in combat, and then you've made some recent changes to the speed or how speed works with combat. Do you know? I think it's capped now at 80. Is that right?
So what's the question?
Huh?
What is the question?
The question is, do you plan on making any other changes to the speed and how speed works with combat?
We're constantly making changes. As about speed, it was more about fixing of our incorrect formula in speed bonus calculations, and implementing cap in certain situations, especially when you were able to wave your lance or pike sideways and resulting in a huge unrealistic amount of speed bonus. So we capped the maximum bonus.
Yeah, you've capped it at 80, it seems. But with 80, you're still able to one-shot anybody that's not wearing armor. Is that intended? Like, is a Lancer gonna be able to one-shot a naked guy?
No. As I said before, no one-shots, at least not in MMORPG.
Mm-hmm. So you plan on
two
making
shots as a minimum, at least.
So if you see that the speed bonus is still a problem, you would make changes down the road to reduce it?
No,
or how it works?
Well, it was not about speed bonus. The fix was devoted to fixing that exploit that resulted in a huge speed bonus. As far as I know, such speed bonus cannot be achieved normally on a horse, at least if you are not hitting someone traveling towards you on a horse. That's the idea. But yes, it's not. Mm-hmm.
Even after the fix, though, you can still get up by using the same trick. You can still get up to 80 speed bonus.
Yes, because
if you're doing if you're doing a lance and a horse with 80 speed, you'll still one shot anyone that's not wearing any armor.
And you cannot travel on horse in 80 speed. That's what I'm trying to say. And if you're still able to wave your lance sideways and and get such speed bonus, it's not correct behavior, and we're going to fix it sooner or later. And if you get some good speed bonus, you still should not be able to one hit kill someone.
Right. All right. Another big one is archers in the game. Do you plan on any changes to the archer functionality, like how they load the arrows or how they pull the strings, the crosshairs, and so forth? I know also another big one for archers is the reticle is off when you're in third person, then it's more accurate when you're in first person.
Oh yeah, third person and first person reticles is a huge amount of holy wars here and discussions. Well, to be honest, it's quite hard to fix it from a third-person view because we actually cast arrows literally from from your from eyes position. And when you're from third-person view, either you have to look at in a parallel vector towards your eye view, so that will result that you will not be able to see your player or will have to see a lot of your player. I mean, it's lengthy discussion, but the
Yeah.
idea is that we don't want to be third-person view to be able to good for aiming. I mean, first-person view works perfectly for it. And third person view were never designed to be good for aiming and shooting. That's our idea. Maybe we'll work something out, but I'm not sure about it and when we're going to do that. And as about archery, to be honest, I haven't seen the last way of how it works. And if you can name some serious disbalances or issues with archery, feel free to report them. Because
Yeah, I think what we're seeing right now is that it's kind of turned into a Counter-Strike medieval style, whereas even if they're wearing heavy armor, you do quite a lot of damage with the bodkin arrows and those kind of arrows, the different arrows. But even with war shouts, it's really hard to catch an archer because there's no penalty, there's no movement penalty when drawing and firing. So you can constantly be moving and still be shooting.
Yeah, well, there certainly should be some kind of slower, I don't know, movement penalty. We will certainly do not root archers, but movement penalty should be in our game, that's true. And okay, all differently implemented sooner or later.
Yeah. Also, we've got a follow-up question from one of our members in the chat here about crossbows, because at the moment you don't really see them used because of the massive movement penalty that you've got to crossbows compared to bows.
During reloading, of course.
Yes, during reloading, and it makes sense. It's realistic, but the extra point that you need to invest to get to bows is very, very low. So it's not often you see anyone actually using the crossbow. Is that something that you're going to be looking into to see that weapon type actually used more in game?
Well, actually, again, I believe that's also because of there are less sieges and more some, I don't know, kind of small combat situations in your own. I'm quite sure that when we're going to implement a bigger mantlets and proper sieges will occur in MMORPG, crossbows and siege crossbows will be more effective because you can always hide behind something to reload, and your damage output and your curve of your bolt and so on should compensate your lack of movement during reload. That's again, that's the theory, that's the idea behind it. And so we'll see how it's going to work in MMORPG. And as about bows damage and bodkin arrows damage, I believe it's still we already have some balance changes that are still waiting to be patched in your own. I'm not quite sure at the moment, but I do remember discussing it with other game designers that we have some kind of rebalance. I'm just waiting for a patch to come out.
Nice. All right, and then a little lighter question. What is your vision for how naval warfare mechanics will work in the game? Basically, mainly in MMO.
Oh, it's too far to discuss it now, really. But
too far out.
But well, if you ever played Darkfall Online, I kind of expect something like that. I mean, the ships will be traveling the sea. They will be able to kind of block each other and bump into each other, and I'm quite sure we'll going to enable some kind of how it's called, boarding, boarding hook or boarding process that will result in two ships to be interconnected, and then whoever captures control point, steering wheel of another ship will be able to end that boarding, and resulting of, I don't know, so some team to be wiped and other team actually control two ships. And as about land bombardment, because we do not have gunpowder, and we should not have gunpowder, at least in my vision, there will be no massive naval bombardments in game. So it will be ships will be used mostly as a transport and of large amount of troops and large amount of goods, but not to nuke down some cities that are close to water.
Okay, very good. And I know this is not really a question that anyone put out, but I'm going to go and ask anyways. I know you've said before that you don't plan on having ships in the beta waves, 1 or 2, right? Do you plan on it being early in the MMO?
I want to have ships in MMO, but the plans are realistically we will not be able to implement them soon enough. So we can expect them maybe middle next year or something like that.
Okay.
But they will be implemented both for your own and MMO, and so I really do want to implement that feature. And so,
yeah,
I mean, it's a quite high priority, but there are even more features that are even more high priority, and bug fixes and system works and so on.
Very good. All right, and then another big question has been in relation to horses in combat. Right now, if you have a rider and they're lancing you, they can run off far enough away, dismount their horse, put it in their inventory, bring it back out, and then it's at full health. Do you have any upcoming changes to horse healing that would avoid that sort of situation?
Well, yeah, no, that definitely should not be that way. And of course, we are going to try to store somehow horses' health. But well, we'll see how it's going to work out. I mean, I do agree with you that it's not normal situation. But so far, it's only that way. When we're gonna have time, we're gonna fix it the same way we fixed it with herbalist gardens and all crafting buildings not saving their progress during several resets. So it's kind of similar situation with horse, but it's just not the server that's being reset; it's horse that being reset.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm quite sure it should not be too hard to implement it, so we can store the hit points of the horse that had been packed, and when it will be unpacked, we'll measure amount of time that passed since it's packaging and unpackaging, and if it's just a couple of minutes, there will be no health change. I mean, it will be as damaged as it was before, but if a couple of days has passed, it will be a full health horse. Well, maybe someday you will implement some kind of how it's called, veterinary, way of healing your pets. Of healing your
basically pets. Healing with a saw and a hammer, but just for the horse.
Yes, exactly.
That's like one of my favorite things in this game, the fact that the healers run around with a saw and a hammer.
It's only hurt a bit.
Yes. Okay, so we gotta follow
medieval surgery.
It's
feudal.
It's about the same, right?
Yeah, we gotta follow up when it comes to horses, because for those of us that played the Wave 0 when it first came up, one of the biggest issues was that we couldn't inventory our horse after we crossed the server line. Is this something you've been able to fix?
Yes, that current issue is already fixed.
Good.
Yeah, it was one of our top priority issues, and even if it's not fixed right now, I mean, not patched, it will be patched rather soon. No, I mean, I just want to say that we're really thankful for all that feedback and data you provided us during Wave 0. It really helped us a lot, and we are moving toward Wave 1 actually by fixing all of those features along with all of those bugs and implementing guild mechanics as a main feature.
Very good. Yeah, I know we enjoyed it a lot playing the beta. You know, it had a lot of rough issues, especially with the guild mechanics, but it was a lot of fun. It's nice seeing a big map.
Yeah, because that guild mechanics was actually a legacy from Life is Federal Your Own, how it's called, castrated guilds mechanics. And for MMORPG, we always planned a bigger feature, a more proper guilds and diplomacy system, and right now it's being developed and might be quite close to be finished.
All right, and I know another thing, talking about the MMO, I know that I've heard before, and you can correct me if I say anything wrong, but I've heard before that you are hoping to have 200 people per map server at a time,
200.
without 200 without much issue. Do you ever expect to get to the point where we could have 500 to 1,000 people engaged in a combat on one of these maps, or is that unforeseeable?
Well, actually, 500 people on one instance server can be theoretically reached, but I will not even bother trying to project when it will be. Next year, hopefully. I mean, the idea behind battle system is actually that we want to create an instance server that will have no terraforming, no construction, no any crap that can load it, only just to calculate players' movements and combat actions. And when two guilds will engage in a battle, well, maybe you all have read all that system about battle challenge and battle server. So that specially tuned servers should be able to handle at least 500, but not at beta 1 or at beta 2 sometime later.
Okay, so like an instance map, we could expect maybe down the road having larger than 200 person battles.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Right.
All right, now we have some more general questions, less combat based. What is the intended skill cap for the MMO? Is it going to be 400, or are you playing something different at this point?
We'll see. Right now it's 400, but again, before we're going to start the wave, we're going to observe how everything is proceeding, and maybe we're going to change it. But so far, I'm sticking to 400s.
Okay. And another question, kind of in the same ballpark, is the multiplier will be 1. Is that right?
Multiplayer will be different. We're certainly tuning on. We got global multiplayer, and we got skills multiplier and ability multiplier. And those ability multipliers we are going to tune also. So result should be maybe even less than X1, at least in some abilities, because, well, I've told it everywhere. My vision about skills progression is the following: that it should take you a couple of hours of relaxed gaming to reach skill 30. It should take you about a couple of days, maybe up to a week, to reach skill 60. It should take you about a couple of weeks to reach a skill 90. And it should take you about a year to reach skill 100. Yeah, that's the idea. But you all know that skill 90 already give you almost everything. Well, everything except the title or maybe some towns or something to show off. So according to that philosophy, according to that vision, we're going to tune skills and abilities progression rates multipliers.
Okay, I've got a follow-up when it comes to the skill cap of 400. We've got Hydrox TV asking in Twitch chat, what is the thought process behind 400? Because it used to be 600.
It used to be 600 because we had a different skill line. we had a longer skill chains. Right now, our skill chains are shorter. That's why overall skill cap has lowered. That's the idea.
Yeah, so you're trying to, with the shorter skill lines, you're trying to avoid people splashing too much and making overpowered builds. Is that what I'm?
That's right. That's the idea. I mean, the idea behind skill cap was about how many higher tier skills you'll be able to unlock, and because all chains are shorter now, we are certainly lowering that overall skill cap. So there will be almost the same amount of higher tier skill levels to be unlockable for one character at once.
All right, and I know this is a question that's been bugging me a lot when I'm planning and thinking about how to build and city design is claim size. I mean, there's been a lot of talk in the wiki about the claims and what will be in the MMO and what won't be in the MMO. Can you give us like a clear picture on what we can expect as far as how claims will work in the beginning of MMO Wave 1 and if it will change in Wave 2 or the release?
Well, I do hope that we'll be able to implement a wall in almost all that's written in the wiki. I mean, we're already implementing a city claim and country claim. So it will be almost like your current guild claims, but with a difference of a totally protected area in a city claim that can never be raided or destroyed until you are under siege. And country claim that can be raided during certain hours, so maybe some window of opportunities, so we'll decide it later. If you are in a state of official war with some other guild. So there will be no judgment hour or anything in MMORPG, but if you are in a state of official war with some other guild, we will decide. Maybe you will be able to set up your own guild windows of opportunity, but since we still do plan regional servers, at least European server and United States based server, I quite hope that there should be no problem in one mutual window of opportunity for such raids. So pretty much that's how it's gonna work. So if you're in official state of war with some other guild, let's say every Friday, Saturday, and maybe Wednesday at 7 p.m. till 9 p.m., each one of you will be able to raid each other's counter claims. There will be no magical defenses on any assets on those country claims. But maybe we'll see, maybe some kind of special acts will have to be done to remove that protection. We'll see. And city claim will be magically protected until you are sieged. And for you to be able to be sieged, you have to lose a lot of battles, guild battles. So your monument will be downgraded to level 1. That will actually, when you're going to lose all your country claim and will have only a town claim. And then you will be able to be sieged. And if you lose a siege, GG, you are not a guild anymore. And personal claims will be patches of land that will be rectangular patches of land. If they are outside of any guild claim, they will be magically protected forever. If they are on some country or if they are inside of city claim, city guild claim, they will also be, of course, protected. And if they are on a country claim, they will be raided if that current guild is in a state of war. So you are kind of following destiny of your guild with your personal claim.
Okay, and then it's kind of a follow-up to that question. I know previously from what I read on the wiki that you had to have 10 people to make a claim. Is that still going to be the case in the MMO? Because I know like in the YO version you only need one person. You can easily make a solo or a 2-person claim. Will you still be required to have large numbers to make a claim in the MMO, or has that changed?
No. At least 10 more people as a minimum. That's still not changed. we definitely do not want to see one or two people guilds claiming some lands. I mean, it's okay if you want to create a band or order that will have no guild claims or no land in game. It's okay. You will have a tag. You'll have your charter, and you will not be able to participate in political life, at least officially participate. I mean, you will not be able to issue a war or anything, but you still will have your tech, you will have your heraldry, and so on. And as about, but once you have set up the monument, you become a part of global politics. And in order to be a part of global politics, you will have to have at least 10 people to order to set up that monument. That's our vision. We're talking about more RPG after all. It's not a place for 2 or 3 people trying to do so.
Okay. Okay, and then
sorry
go ahead.
I saw a question about skills progression. If you will be able to set up your skills top at 60, not 60.1. Yes, that's an issue, and we are also trying to figure out how to deal with it. So,
Okay.
well, maybe a couple of weeks, we'll make it so that if some skill advanced above 30, 60, or 90 range, it will advance at an even number. I mean, there will be no 60.001, there will be 60. And next advance of your skill will be 60.01. That's the idea. So you will have a chance to stop in according time when you want.
Yeah, it seems right now there's a lot of people complaining that their strength is locking at 59 rather than 60, or 59.98 or something. I personally haven't been able to see any difference in that small gap, so I don't know if the exactly 60 actually does anything.
Yeah, well, it actually does a lot. I mean, some abilities and some armors and some stuff unlocks at 30, 60, and 90. In some skills, it doesn't matter, but some other skills or abilities are unlocked only at 60, or only at 30, or only at 90. So it is an issue.
So it's on exactly 60, because if you're looking at, for instance, when it comes to strength, your carry capacity, like how much you can carry on you, like your armor, the number for carry capacity goes up at, like, I think it's 59.7 or something, and not at exactly 60.
Whoa. So sorry, we are talking about stats or skills?
Well,
I was
stats,
talking about skills.
mainly, because that's what people are complaining most about, is because they want their stats to be a perfect 60-60 or...
Well, actually, I thought about skills because, well, it's also an issue because you want to have your skill build precise, and for instance, if you spend 60.1 in some, let's say, carpentry, you will have only 59.9098 in some other skill, and that will be that will prevent you from unlocking abilities of 60 level.
Yes,
because you will actually reach a skill cap, and because you spent like 0.001 point of skill in some skill you don't need, and you are unable to reach and 60 in another skill. So that's why I think that it's an issue. It's not that bigger with the stats, because you do not unlock anything with stats. But yeah, I do understand that people also want to have even and beautiful numbers. And it's the same system, it's the same technology. So if we're going to implement a fix, it will be working the same way for stats and skills.
Yeah, you know, we MMO players are all about making our characters look pretty, even the stats. Okay, so there's another follow-up that we got here from about the skills. Like, at the moment, some of the skills are lacking any kind of bonus, especially the minor skills like horse riding or general actions. Will there be anything more than, because right now I think the only thing that has anything major is piety in that tree? Are you working on perks and bonuses for those minor skills?
Well, minor skills were by design skills that that just utilitarian. How it's called? They're minor. I mean, there are secondary skills that should matter, but minor skills were always designed to be something like not really important. But they are important in authority. Climbing will also affect the speed of your climbing. So there is a reason to progress your skills, but it will not be that obvious if compared with normal skills. I mean, even with horseback riding, your speed depends on your skill. So if you have a high quality horse, but your horse riding skill is not high, you will move slower. It already should work as far as I know. So they are actually a bit important, but there will certainly, I don't see what kind of special abilities we are going to implement that will be unlocked at 90 level of horseback riding. At least it's not our priority at the moment.
Trick move, standing up and raising your left foot.
Well, trick move is a part of combat skills, and we got to warhorse handling, but well, okay.
All right, then we have a question from Twitch. I'll ask real quick. Can we expect any new content prior to the MMO access? Something significant that will draw players back and improve the decline numbers? Or are you planning just pushing everything into the MMO?
Oh, well, we are constantly developing new content. It cannot be called like a content. We are constantly improving our game. Well, first of all, this week you should expect visual patch with a lot of IGR and different, eye candies, how it's called.
Yeah?
Yes,
Nice.
this week. No, I'd say there's nothing really huge, but still interesting features and aspects you'll see in patch notes. Also, in a couple of months from now on, we plan to implement physics-based rendering. Like in modern engines, like in Unreal or CryEngine, and so on. So leather will actually look like leather, and metal will actually look like metal. Also,
Nice.
we're quite close. I mean, for like a couple of months we are close, but not yet with the 64 bits version of client and the server. That also should improve performance of everyone's gaming and reduce amount of crashes, because crashes still do occur when you run out of RAM. And that's we're also going to implement a 64 bits client and server. Also, mini games is more about MMORPG. 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, New Forests. Again, it's not that highly visible feature, but with New Forests, we plan to implement to introduce bushes and some smaller trees, and overall look of forests should change to be looking more realistic, and algorithm of its growing should be less consuming, should produce less changes, and should overly result in a more natural looking forest. That's also we're going to implement quite soon. I mean, right now it's going to be released on MMORPG for us to test it on MMORPG scale, but once we're going to balance it and how it's called, polish it, we're going to release it in your own version.
Nice.
Let me see. Rain sometimes, so I hope we will fix ugly rain. Yeah, no, we do know that it looks ugly, but you'd be surprised what a huge problem it is, because in different games, rain either does not exist or it works in as a part of a level design. I mean, for instance, in GTA 5, you got rain, but once you are entering any building, it magically disappears. because there are a lot of problems of rain inside of buildings, and rain you see through the windows, and there are a lot of details. And because we got a dynamical world with buildings that can be placed everywhere, with player running around and digging tunnels, and rain should be visible here, should be invisible there. It's a lot of issues.
This is something to look forward to.
Sorry, what?
I said that's nice. That's something to look forward to.
Little ones.
I said that's something to look forward to.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, yes. Quite sure you're gonna like it.
Yeah, it should be nice. Another question that I know it's come up a couple times with other people is that as far as like custom images for tabards and heraldry, do you plan on having any way that people can upload images that would then be rendered in the game, or is that something beyond the scope?
No, I believe we should not allow it.
Okay.
I mean, we got a lot of discussions here and there about it. And I actually agree with our art director that we should not let players to upload anything.
Yeah.
Because, well, it will result in you do know it will result in some flying dicks on the tablet. I mean, it's kind of it cannot be. It's unavoidable, but we at least want to minimize it. I mean, we still try to save and preserve that medieval feel and look of our game, and so we're not acting, like Rust or some other popular Steam games. When the more user content, the more user content user can upload, the better. It's not our philosophy in current project. I do understand it's not popular, but still we want to preserve our medieval feel and look of our game. And the other option is some kind of moderation, but well, I believe it will be quite time consuming, and also it will be quite a good technological feature to be able to implement it. So in result, we just want to avoid it for now.
Yeah, and you'll drive one of your employees nuts having to look at dick pics all day.
Exactly.
We've got some follow-ups on the aesthetic changes coming in now. One thing that's bothering some people now is that if you build a house that's on a flattened land that still has grass on it, the grass will clip through the floor.
Yeah, that's an issue also. No, it's already in the plan of things we need to fix sometime soon, but without certain data, without certain date.
Okay, but you guys are aware of it, and it's something that's going to be coming.
Yes, we do aware, but it's not that easy as it sounds. Well, obvious solution were to actually automatically change soil type under the building, but that's actually not that easy as it sounds, especially when we're talking about bigger buildings that are covering a lot of land around them.
The large keep.
Yeah, large keep, almost everything. So we are now working on the way of upgrading our rendering engine. Well, I already mentioned to you about physics-based rendering, and all those eye candies we already implemented and will release in the next patch. And so I do hope that we will be able to cut that grass in runtime during rendering. But again, sometime later. It's not priority at the moment. But I do agree it is an issue.
Yeah, and then we got a question from the more RP enthusiast here. Is there any plans for adding more furniture and decorations?
Yes, why not? We're actually constantly trying to implement more and more of decorations and furniture. It just takes some time. But we want to keep on doing it, that's true. But again, no ETAs or anything.
All right, and then another question is about griefing mechanics. Will there be any kind of anti-griefing mechanics in addition to the alignment system in the MMO?
No, actually it was not planned, but can you elaborate more about what type of griefs people mostly use?
For instance, right now, something that a lot of people are complaining about is that you can, if you log out right below somebody's walls and then you log back in, you're on top of the wall.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say it's a grief. It's an exploit. It's a dangerous exploit, and we certainly need to fix it. And I believe we'll fix it. Not next patch, but how it's called next patch. How it's called really.
And I think another one that people have been having problem with is that even on a claim, people can come in and drop soil from their inventory on top of your farm, and that will destroy the crops.
That is also a known bug, and that also should be fixed. We are aware about it. I cannot tell you about status of that fix, but again, that should not be able to be done. I mean, all I want to say is that there are some griefs possible, but those griefs should not be possible with the current anti-grief system. I mean, if someone constantly attacks anyone, he will lose karma, he will be a criminal, he can be killed, he can be taught how to behave, yeah? But if someone is using exploits to get inside, we should fix that exploit. If someone is using some exploits to destroy your crops, even during, even outside of Judgment Hour, we should fix that exploit, so he will not be able to grief you anymore. So yeah, I would say our current anti-grief mechanics works, but there are some bugs that needs to be fixed for them to work perfectly.
But then a follow-up to that will be, how will the MMO deal with people using these exploits? Will you be punishing with bans or timeouts where you can't play for a week or anything like that?
Certainly, with a pleasure.
So you're going to be bringing out the ban hammer?
Exactly. I'm joking. I was waiting for that moment for like 6 years already.
I'm guessing you have a two-handed hammer coded in that says Bobik's ban hammer.
Well, you saw Game Master ropes, but you haven't seen the rest of things that will be in game. but seriously, yeah, definitely, we already have game masters planned. I mean, some kind of how it's called. They're trying to be teaching to be a game masters and will be in MMORPG, and they will observe exploits, bugs, and griefs also. So then it will be pretty much standard like in other games. One warning, second warning, then temporary ban, another temporary ban, then permanent ban. If someone is using some really dangerous hacks, some really dangerous exploits and completely ignores everything and causes a lot of damage, maybe we'll ban him faster than after some temporary bans. So definitely our game master team will work on our servers and will observe all such abuses.
Very good. Something that's come to mind with people while we're listening to this recording, I'll just ask it, is the map for the YO. Are you planning on making any changes or making alternate maps available for the YO?
Not yet, but maybe sometime later when we're going to stabilize MMORPG version, we implement some kind of level editing tool for your own, and we'll make it to work proper with different maps. Thus, people will be able to create their own maps and play on them. Well, I doubt that we'll create new maps for those players, but hopefully we'll give tools sometime later.
I know another one that goes along with that kind of interconnected, I think, is some sort of modding system for the YO down the road. Allow people to add new things or different things, even like doing the workshop in Steam. Do you have any plans for that sort of thing? Is that too far in the future?
No, it's not that too far, but we already got some kind of modding system, and if you heard about Basil mod, actually I do respect what Basil managed to achieve, and he actually already have some kind of such system. And yes, maybe sometime later we're going to implement some kind of workshop and our own modding management tool. But so far, MMORPG is our priority to your own mods.
Yeah, Basil's a genius. Here's another one. I know a lot of people have talked about this, and there actually have been some mods made for this about keeps. Keeps really serve very little purpose. They're pretty weak, and it's hard to use them. Their height advantage to actually help defend. It's better off just building more walls or whatever. Do you plan on making any changes to keeps to make them more functional or more valuable, or are you going to keep them there kind of as a prestige piece?
Exactly. Actually, we have some plans about keeps to be some kind of defense points of wall castles. Probably, it's not final. Maybe we're going to make them as their respawn points during sieges or during raids. So you will not be respawned in your house that might be destroyed or someone inside it or simply camping. But you will spawn inside the keep, and maybe there will be only place where you will be able to place weapon and armor racks that will be actually functional, so you will be able to equip yourself quickly by clicking on them, by using them. So keeps of all sizes will be some kind of combat respawn point during sieges and massive attacks. So if it will be destroyed, everyone will appear somewhere else inside their houses, or maybe just inside the central city, or well, anywhere but not in their castle. So it will be an important point to capture, point to hold, aside from your guild's monument.
That'd be great. Another one is I know like that there's no real magic in the game, but a lot of people feel like the praying home function is pretty magical. Do you plan on taking that out or changing a little bit for the MMO? Because right now you could be 5 server nodes away and pray home to your home server.
That's also a huge discussion. I mean, for my personal opinion, that we kind of have to keep it, but at least we should implement some kind of penalties for using it too much, or for using it when you get a lot of stuff, when you were in combat recently, and so on. I mean, it's okay if you traveled a lot and want to get to your home instantly. It's kind of okay, but it should not be abused as a way, like, for instance, trading. Yes, you can get a lot of gold in your inventory, run on your horse, ride your horse towards some kind of trade shop, and buy stuff you need, some equipment, and then recall. So you'll have, so there will be no risk for you bringing that valuable equipment back, and that's not really good for our game, because we want risk to be on both ways, way to the trader and way back from the trader.
Right.
We will see how Homecoming will work out. So probably there will be some penalties, or maybe inability to recall back if you have something really heavy in your inventory, or something like that. Or maybe you even will going to disable it completely. Or in beta 1, we'll most probably make some kind of a poll about it. I mean, I just sounded all options and my ideas, and I really want to know what people think about it, because yeah, it's realism on one hand, and it's some kind of standard feature of in all RPGs back from Ultima Online. I mean, even in Ultima Online, there will recall in rules, in Darkfall, and in MOBA games you can recall back, because that's almost every major game has a recall feature, because it's fun when you're progressing somewhere, when you're exploring and reaching somewhere, but there is no fun when you're just moving the same road just backwards. So
yeah, I think this as a game has great potential for seeing trade caravans, especially when you add the horse-pulled carts and all that. So being forced to actually physically move your trade goods through the world, and then, as you said, there's a risk
Mm-hmm.
somebody might be ambushing you, and there's this big risk-reward kind of offset that you have to go through. I think that's a good idea. We've got a follow up on the keeps though, from one of our members in chat here. How many bind spots when you're talking about bind spots for a siege? How many bind spots would you, not asking exact numbers, but like ballpark, how many bind spots would you think per keep?
No, I think about maybe 100 for a largest keep, and about 20, 25, 40 for smaller keeps, something like that. So the idea is that you should have one, maximum two of your keeps inside your castle to supply your castle with enough bind points to protect it.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right, and then a lot of questions have come up about the armor changes. I guess it's gotten out that there's going to be some major armor changes. Besides what's already out there, as far as what we can expect, as far as how to make the armor and so forth, is there anything else that we should know as far as how it will mitigate damage or how it will be constructed, stuff like that?
How armors will mitigate damage and how they will be constructed?
Yeah, will there be any changes to how armor works as far as how it mitigates damage, for example?
No, I'm quite sure there will be changes permanently. I mean, it's really hard to explain. And so far, I'm not happy with what's going on with armors, and we're constantly tweaking it and fixing and seeing how it works. And as about how it will be done, I don't know if you're aware, but we're also implementing a regional crafting system that will work also in your own, but it will work way better in MMORPG simply because MMORPG have a bigger map. And the idea behind regional resources system is that in order to create a 90th level armor, you'll have to acquire a blueprint, and blueprint will be a random drop during crafting process of 60 or of crafting of 0 or 60 level armors. So basically you craft a lot of normal armors, you get a blueprint. Using that blueprint you can create a 90 level armor, but that blueprint demands not a simple iron, it demands a regional iron. For instance, it demands let's say northern region iron and southeastern region leather and western region wood, and you need to gather or craft, steal, whatever you do, find those resources, and only then you will be able to craft that armor. So our idea is to actually have following types of armor. So level 0 armor will be for basic leveling up. For recruits, it will be cheap mass production armor. 16 level armor will be a common combat armor that everyone will use in a normal situation. 90 level armor will be quite expensive armor that we will use for important battles or for sieges, something that you will be afraid to lose, that you should be afraid to lose. And 100 level armor will be the same as 90 level armor with all the stats, but just more fancy looking, the way it is working now already.
Okay, we've got a couple of follow-up questions here when it comes to the crafting of armor. You talked about making them more complex, and there was also in one of the recent Facebook updates, it said something about a multi-layered armor system where you need a padded shirt in order to make a chainmail shirt or anything like that. And we also saw, I think I might be mistaken, but I think we saw a hint of that in a patch gone a bit wrong recently, where there were added some wires and leather scraps and stuff like that. When can we expect to see this multi-layered armor system?
Well, truth to be told, it still will be almost the same armor system. I mean, crafting will be changed, of course. Yes, you have seen those leather straps and all that stuff, but I mean, it will still be the same armor calculation system. I mean, there will be no certain layers protection. I mean, chainmail, this is still chainmail. Even if it will require some padded armor to craft it, it will still be the same chainmail armor. I mean, also combat way of calculation of armor mitigation will not change much. Of course, we'll tweak numbers, we'll change balance according to the philosophy I just explained about 0, 60, 90, and 100 of armors. But there will be no some kind of advanced mechanics like when you got hit, your chains were broken, but your padded layer has actually blocked something, and blah blah blah. No, not now, not right now.
So it'll be the same finished product. It's just the process of making it will be more complex.
Right. That's right.
Okay, and then we've got another one. Because right now all the armors are the same, no matter what you make them. If you make them with copper, iron, steel, is there any thoughts about making armor values higher for, say, armors or sword made by steel, or are they still going to be the same as with iron?
Well, they actually already should work. Your quality depends on type of metal you are using.
Well, the quality will, but if you have high quality iron, it will still be the same as high quality steel because the quality is still capped at 100.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Well, no, that shouldn't be true because 100 quality copper or 100 quality iron should not result in. It should. Final quality of your item will be kept at 60 and 80. That's also part of upcoming change. So if you want to have a 100 quality armor or weapon, you must have to craft Vastasco steel. If you're using if you are going to use a simple steel, your maximum quality will also be kept. And if you're using a simple iron, your maximum quality will be also kept. And if you're using copper, your maximum quality will not be higher than 20 or 40. I don't remember exactly.
That'd be good. I'll put used to it. All right, in the FAQ, you spoke about the day-night cycle. This is one of the more recent questions. I think it was 161, but I could be wrong. But it talked about the day-night cycle being 4 to 6 hours, and the crops take 9 to 12 cycles, was my interpretation, to mature. Does that sound about right, of what you guys are looking at right now?
Well, crops are growing 11 to 12 days, something like that. I don't remember exact numbers. So it is in stone because crops are using part of our terraforming data structure, so we cannot change that much. And as about duration of in-game day, as you correct mentioned earlier, we'll decide. Maybe it will be 3 to 6 hours. We'll see. So
per cycle.
Per day, yeah, per day.
Okay, and then so you expecting it to be? So you're saying if you do 3 hours per cycle or per in-game day, it would be one real life day till it's mature, and if you do 6, it'll be 2 real life days before it's mature. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
No, we don't want you to wait for new crops for a real month or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's good if it's more than a day. You know, it's nice that it's a day in the YO because things happen or whatever. But it'd be nice if it was 2, maybe even 3 days before it matures. Personally.
Well, yeah. Currently, I stick more to 6 hours per day, so it will be 4 real life, 4 in-game days per 1 real life day. So it will take 2-3 days, 2 3 real life days for crops to mature.
I think that'd be interesting.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. Now, Bobik, we have a ton of questions. I don't want to keep you all day, so when you have to go, you let me know, and we'll end the interview. But I'm gonna keep asking until you tell me otherwise.
Few more last questions, and yeah, I'm ready to go.
Okay. Do you see any? I know that recently you put out a map. I think you did a there's a map that was put out on the internet showing different climate zones. I think there were 7, if I'm right, for the MMO. What effect do you see the different climate regions having on growth time or quality of crops or anything else, or the trees or anything? Are they going to have any effect at all?
Well, again, I'm quite sure not many of you have noticed it, or if ever anyone noticed it, but current weather during the day actually affects speed of forests, crops, and livestock breedings.
Okay.
So currently, if it's rainy, I do not recall it absolutely correctly, but it's just a rough estimation. So if it's rainy, trees will grow up, crops. Okay, crops. The best yield, the best harvest you get if amount of rainy and sunny days will be equal. So it mostly happens during late spring and summer. So if you plant your crops during that time, you'll get the maximum yield, maximum harvest amount. If you plant them during snow, of course, during snow and heavy rains, there will be almost no yield. Same applies to livestock, but they just live cloudy weather, how it's called, forecast weather, yeah, with some clouds. And trees grow faster and spawn new saplings during rainy weather. So basically, different types of weather already should affect different types of farming, livestock and crops and wood production. And different climate zones will have a different amount of those weathers. I mean, the winters will be longer, and during winters there will be more showering, and during more showering, trees will grow up faster. That's the idea. So different climate zones will have different lengths of seasons, and different lengths of seasons means there will be different proportion of different weathers. And as I said, weather affects everything. So that's the idea.
Okay. All right. 3 more questions.
Sorry. Yeah. So the idea is that because there will be more snow and more rainy weather in the north, there will be wood production will be faster and better in the north. Because south and southern steppes and desert will have more sunny days. It will have less rainy days and more sunny days. It will affect better on livestock production. And the central part will have kind of balanced proportion that will be ideal for farming. But again, it doesn't mean that other activities will be inefficient. They will be efficient, but just a bit less. That's the idea.
Okay. Kind of along with that one is weather and how it affects people. Are you expecting it to, like people to get cold, for example, and freeze to death? Would that be something you'd implement down the road, or not in the site right now?
No, it's not on the site right now. That's right. I mean, it's an obvious and interesting survival mechanics, but my personal opinion that survival does not really work in MMORPG environment. I mean, there you can always find someone who will help you, or find someone who will kill you before you are going to freeze to death.
Yeah.
And I mean, it works okay in single player games or some smaller scale or MMORPG, some smaller scale MMO games, when there are only like 10 or 20 of you on a huge map, and you play almost all alone or with your friend, and you occasionally meet someone and you kill each other, maybe or not, but survival is the main aspect of your gameplay. But in MMORPG, where there will be huge battles, there will be no troubles of just wearing a proper clothes for not to get frozen.
Right. All right, we have 2 more questions and we'll let you go. this one's about trading posts. How do you see them functioning? I mean, there's been a lot of talk about trading posts and people build their own trading posts. Are they going to be somehow connected?
Okay. I would. Yes, it's a pleasure to answer that question. So idea is that trading posts will act almost the same way like stations work in EVE Online. So you can see offers, buy and sell offers in the trading post. You will be able to browse sale and buy offers in a neighboring trading posts. And if you want to actually buy something in a trading post, you will have actually to fetch gold to the trading post, commit a deal, and fetch goods back to your location. And so it will be a huge one interconnected network of global trading network. And I'm quite sure you will be able to see all the offers and buy and sell offers all around the world. You will be able to browse it. We don't want to limit it somehow. Maybe there will be some technological limitations, but at least it's not planned to be so. And it will be up to you to find a better price, better position, and go and buy it. And coped with my idea of guilds coins. So when certain amount of guilds have interconnected with each other, I mean, when they are formed an alliance, they become a kingdom. And that kingdom, sometime maybe in a better way, free or in release, will be able to, how it's called, forge their own coins. And they will be able to set up prices for their goods in their own coins. And there will be some kind of global coin exchange market. So if they will be able to actually economically affect the world server or their own performance. I mean, when you are creating a high quality goods and you sell them on the setting price of your own coins, that means that those goods will be used by your guild and by those who want to get access to those goods. So they will have to force to exchange a normal gold for your coins, and those it will increase a value of your coins. That will also increase the value of your guild overall, because you will be able to exchange your valuable coins back into gold and get something. I mean, it will work the same way like it's called currency exchange funds working right now. Not funds. Sorry, forget that word.
Do you plan on? I mean, is it foreseeable that we could have currency in Wave 1 or Wave 2?
Not certainly not in Wave 1, and doubtfully in Wave 2. That's a long planned feature, but it will be different here. We will implement simple trading posts at first with just gold, just simple gold coins. So that will be the same everywhere. And sometime later we will implement ability to craft your own coins and set prices for your goods in your own coins. And we'll create stock exchange for those coins. So I'm quite sure there will be a so-called game inside the game, because it will work the same way as a stock exchange works right now. I mean, some guild lost a battle, and everyone will run to sell their coins because their value will probably drop. And if some guild has won some war, their coin price will rise up, because it means that's a strong guild that has increased its political and military power, and that will most certainly mean that they will be more powerful and economically. And it's worth investing your normal gold into their coins. Pretty much like stock exchange working in real life.
Yeah, that makes me really happy as a real life economy person and somebody who's meant to be in charge of the clan economy. To end off, we've got a kind of more of a philosophical question for you.
Mm-hmm.
This is, it's a good question for you because this is your vision. Like, where do you see Life is Feudal 5 years from now?
Sounds like it's an interview, and you will tell me if you will accept me to be your employee.
You gotta sell your game here. Will we still be playing in 5 years?
Okay, I'll try to answer it. I expect it to be quite popular, and will still be here, and we'll have more, more interesting mechanics implemented than we have now, and than we already planned. I mean, that's a game of my dream, and I wanted to create a realistic sandbox, medieval virtual life, and so the main vector of our development is actually to create that, to implement as more features as possible for that life to be more, so you players believe more in that life. I mean, the more details, the more features, the more mechanics we will implement, the more appealing it will look, the more realistic it will look. And I mean, not realism, I mean, the way how you believe in that game, that it really looks like life. Fictional or feudal, but still life. That's the main goal I'm trying to achieve. I hope that I was clear here, because it's hard to explain everything in words, but that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and I think I speak for everybody that's here and all the clans that have participated, and is that we enjoy your vision, and we're looking forward to seeing it in a larger scale.
I'm also looking forward to it. You really, I mean, I have never expected that 6 years ago, that's when I just made the first move to create that game, and I had a vision maybe 2 years before it, so it's 8 years already since I dreamed about that game, and it's closer and closer and closer, and I see more and more of it to appear and to be presented to players, and I'm really happy. Happy is a weak word to explain it. What's very happy is still a weak word to explain it, that such medieval world, that game of my dreams is being implemented, and that's coming to be true.
All right. Well, thank you, Bobik, so much for taking well over an hour to talk to us and share some ideas about the game, where it's going, and what you've done so far. It looks great. We're really excited.
Well, thank you guys for actually bringing me here. And so, to be honest, I believe we should arrange another meeting
For sure.
similar way. I mean, I also enjoyed talking with you guys, and I have to confess, really kind of losing all the details about the game, unfortunately, because I still have a huge company to, no, not huge, but still a big team to deal with, and a lot of different details. And I do admit that I'm kind of losing all the details about the game and game design of it. And talking with you actually provides a valuable feedback that kind of missed, that I kind of miss right now. Most of the things you were mentioning already, I knew about them already, but some of them are kind of new. And tomorrow morning, I'm going to discuss it with kind of game designers about the way how we are going to fix it and how we are going to address those issues. So it's That's really good. Valuable. It's additional, important, and quite interesting channel for feedback about our game, and that's why I want to, except just having fun chatting with you, it's also that's why I want to keep on such practice, and maybe in a week or two from now, let's arrange another meeting.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely be able to do it again, and I think most of us, or I would say all of us, there's like 60 people in this channel now, and there's been 60 to 70 watching on Twitch as well, so I think everybody's gotten some good information and gotten some of their questions answered. So we would definitely be up for doing it again.
Cool. I'm over.
Yeah.
You know where to find me.
Yep. Thanks again, Mito, for organizing everything. If you're there.
I have a small request.
Mhm.
If you can give Tolik a big kiss for me, because he's been really helpful.
Oh, what one?
For those of you that don't know the voice, that's Uba, one of the guys that asks a lot of questions on the forum, and he bothers one specific developer named Tolik with all of his findings, can we say?
Well, I
should
bothered
marry-
the
You
bothered
should
the
marry
Uddle
each other.
before.
Come on, you'd be surprised. Three
I
hours
saw
ago,
I saw
3
his
hours ago.
Facebook pictures.
Okay, 3 hours ago, Tolik actually asked me to say hello to you.
Oh, it's getting there.
Well, I was gonna say if for talks later on, if you want to bring in somebody else from the team to give us who can answer different questions than you, that would also be fine for us. It's all up to you how you want to do this.
Well, I believe it can be done. I mean, we can go together with someone else. So, it can be done. I don't see any reasons why should we not to do it. But I also want to participate it. So I want to hear
Oh well, it's your
that
game, it's your
valuable
company.
feedback from you guys.
All right, I think that was it for today.
That's
big
it.
Thank you to everybody that participated, and especially to Bobik. This was great.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for coming.